Books presents Death and Texas by William W. Johnstone and J. A. Johnstone, narrated by John Little. Chapter 1. Colin McCabe knelt beside a stout oak tree, watching the door of the tiny cabin perched on the opposite side of a no-name stream, halfway between Austin and Corpus Christi. It was early morning, and he waited patiently for the man inside to come outside to answer the morning call from nature, thinking he would surely have to soon. But there was no indication that he had even stirred. There was no need to caution himself not to become impatient at this point. By nature, Colin was a patient man, especially since the man now sleeping inside the cabin was the last of the men he hunted. He had tracked this man for the last 3 days, a trail that had changed directions 4 times in an obvious effort to lose anyone who might be on his tail. Now it had ended at this shabby cabin with the last of the 5 men who had murdered Cullen's wife and children, burned his house to the ground, stolen his extra horses, and slaughtered his milk cow. He could be patient, no matter how long it took at this point, for nothing else mattered. For the better portion of the last 6 months, Colin had tracked the gang of outlaws with no purpose in life beyond destroying the men who had taken away his reason for living. In relentless pursuit of the 5, he had tracked them down, one by one, to exact the vengeance that had driven him on to this final place of reckoning. The man inside the cabin was Troy Camp. His was the only name of the 5 that Colin knew. As sheriff of the small town of Sundown, Colin had arrested him for drunken behavior once, but surely this was not motive enough to slaughter Mary Kate and the children. This was an act of purely malicious men, bent on satisfying their evil pleasures. Colin felt the muscles in his forearms tightening as he clenched the .73 Winchester in his hands and stared at the door of the cabin. There was still no evidence of anyone stirring inside. The thought occurred to him that maybe he had been tricked, and Camp had sneaked out the back window during the early morning hours. That possibility was enough to cause him to forsake earlier thoughts of patience. He could wait no longer. Rising from his position by the tree, he pulled a coil of rope up on his shoulder, then walked down the bank of the creek, his rifle ready to fire. When he reached the water, he walked through it, straight toward the cabin door. When he reached it, he raised his foot, and with one powerful thrust he kicked the door open. Shocked from a drunken sleep, Troy Camp bolted up from his bedroll, his pistol in hand, firing wildly and as quickly as he could manage. His shots ripped into the log walls around the door, until a shot from Cullen's rifle cut him down. Camp grabbed his stomach and dropped to his knees. "You idiot!" he cursed as Cullen walked over and kicked Camp's .44 out of reach. "What are you waiting for?" he demanded painfully. "I'm gut shot. Go ahead and finish it." "I'm in no hurry," Cullen said, and took the coil of rope off his shoulder, stepped behind Camp, pulled his arms behind him and tied his wrists together. Disregarding Camp's painful protests, he pushed him over on his face, then quickly tied his ankles together. Not only in pain, but confused as well.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.